Hey friends, Shawn here with Manly Made Minute, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since I've done a live. It's been a little while since I put out a pre-recorded video. However, I've got a great excuse. I will get you caught up on all the life events and stuff as we go. So I'm happy to shoot out a couple videos. The next couple weeks are going to be pre-recorded. I will go live here beginning of June, and I will explain more as I go. But I wanted to do a video of some products that I received. I had the privilege of meeting Cordelia. She's a follower of mine, a follower of many of yours, and she lives close to me here in Georgia. And I brought her a little gift pack of cards. She brought me a little gift pack of stash. She was destashing. She gave me some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful products. So I want to get out some of those products. I've been itching to kind of dig into some of the stuff she gave me, and this die set has just been screaming at me since I got it. So I've done a little kind of looking around, figuring out what I want to do, and I'm going to combine a couple products to make just a nice summary floral kind of trellis card. So let's go down to the down camera, take a look at what I'm going to do, and then it's just going to be a really simple card with some die cutting, some ink smushing, and maybe a little ink splatter. I probably won't be able to risk my urge to do some ink splatter in there as well. Before I go down to that down camera, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me on Instagram as well as here on YouTube with all of my journey of card making and process and techniques and just trying things out. So let's head down to that down camera. Let's take a look at what I'm going to do. All right, here are the two products that of many that Cordelia gave me. This is from scrapbook.com. It's the scalloped flower die set, and then it puts together this little die set. I'm going to use it in a little different form than what's on here, and I'll explain why, because I just want to do some extra die cutting for leaves. I want some greenery type-ish stuff in here, so I'll explain that. Then she had this little book of paper that she was getting rid of, and I just thought these are great colors, so I snatched this out of her destashing pile that she gave me as well, and we're going to use those for the flowers. However, as part of the design team of Brutus Monroe, I got some product when I was in Pittsburgh for a class with Brutus Monroe, and I purchased this garden trellis die cut. This is what it looks like cut up with the supplied floral and leaves and stems and stuff. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to use the trellis. If you have a plaid die cut or a crisscross die cut, really any die cut will work with this. I'm going to use this one just since it is kind of a garden trellis, and I've been itching to try this one since I got it as well. I'm going to ink smush this before I die cut it out. I want a pale bluish, rosy, whitish, gray trellis with some texture on it. I just don't want to die cut this out and leave it white. So I'm going to ink smush my panel that I cut that will cover this whole thing, so when it cuts out, right? I'm going to ink smush this with some Distress Oxide Tatter Rose, Tumbled Glass, and Lost Shadow, just to give it a little distress kind of feel. I might distress it afterwards, but probably not. I just want to keep a nice, simple trellis on this one. Then, behind this, before I put the florals on it, I want a piece of paper, cardstock, behind the trellis to mimic just some sky. So I'm going to do some yellows and some blues and aquas maybe, and throw that on here, ink smushing it as well, and then layer that on this, then layer that on some cardstock. All right? I just wanted to get inky and messy tonight and do something kind of fun and creative, and do a card. So let's just get started. I'm going to start by ink smushing this out. This is going to be for my trellis. So I'm going to do my I'm going to use the blue for last. It's a little bit more darker than these two. So I'm going to use my two lighter colors and layer this up. I'm not using watercolor cardstock. I'm just using Nina Index cardstock for this because I'm not going to get this too wet and too involved with the ink smushing. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I just want to throw some texture on this when I die cut it out. Okay, so Tattered Rose and Lost Shadow. Give that just a little spritzy spritz. Till that beads up. You can see it starting to bead up. I'm going to break that up just a little bit with my fingers. All right, I'm going to lightly wet this, not a ton. because it isn't watercolor. So I'm just giving a couple spritzes so I get a little surface tension of water on there, so that if it's dry and I go straight to this, it's just going to stick. I want this just to move a little bit, okay? Just to give it a little softer kind of feel. And I'm just tapping some of this in there. I'm going to dry that. I just want to layer this up in some nice layers of color on here. So I'm going to just lightly dry that and get the layer started. And we'll just go again. So I'm going to get some of that tattered rose over here, a little gray up in there. Okay, I'm going to wipe this clean so I can start over and dry this. Got some good gray going on this, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more extra tattered rose. Just drying it just enough so it's not wet. It's still damp, but it's not wet. Okay, just tattered rose this time. And I get some here on the edges. There we go. I just wanted a little bit more of that pinkish color in there. That gray will take over, so. Alright, now I'm just going to give this a little blue in there with my tumbled glass. Pretty light on that tumbled glass. I don't want a ton of blue. So I'm just going to spread this out just a little bit. I didn't super saturate down here with ink. I don't want a ton, but it's in a square pattern from the ink pad, so I'm just going to break up that square so I don't get those lines. Alright, now I'm just going to give this just some light little flecks of blue. And when I die cut this out, I know this won't look as much, right? Because this whole piece will get die cut. And I'm actually pretty happy with that. Alright, now I get this semi-dry, then I'll set this over to the side to dry as I ink smush the other one, and I'll come back and dry them. But I just want to get this starting to get dry before I set this aside. I like that. I really like that. Nice and pale. I'll zoom in on this just a little bit so you can kind of see it. Still wet, but let's just zoom in. So nice and pale. I just want a little weathered looking trellis, okay? All right, set that aside. This is going to be my piece now that I'm going to set underneath for some sky. So I want some yellowy, bluey kind of stuff. And I don't need it too intense, but I want some color to show. I'm going to use fossiled amber. I'm going to use, let's see, for blue, do I want to use that broken china? I think I'm going to use the broken china. And just a little bit of some peeled paint, okay? I'm using my minis because I just don't use them enough, for one. And two, and I'm doing the same thing, but this time I'm going to get this, I want some color on here. So I'm gonna throw a good amount of color on this. I want this to pop through that trellis pretty nicely. Okay. Just normal ink smushing, not watercolor paper again, same index, Nina index cardstock. So I'm just going to start layering some of this in. Ooh, I'm liking that. Get some yellow over in that corner. I'm going to dry that back just a little bit so it doesn't keep running on me because I like where that's sitting. Don't be afraid to layer with these distress. Don't be afraid to dry back, reset. Lightly mist it. Remember, it is water activated, so the more you add water to this, it's going to reactivate it. But I do notice that with my Nina cardstock, it soaks in pretty good once you start drying it. All right, I'm going to get some yellow, get some green up in there. Okay, now I'm going to layer on top of this my blue, so that this is just kind of set in the background. Now I'm going to use my broken china for that one. just set that just a little bit. Ooh, I like some of those little darker flecks in there too. All right. Broken china. I try to make sure I don't get just a square when I dab this down, so I don't have to smush as much, because I don't like the, you know, unless I'm going for it, I don't like the little straight lines when I ink smush. Just throw some of this on there. Just getting some little taps going. Might throw one more little tap right through there, but that's actually not too bad, actually, is it? Let me just give that one more little this way, like throw something in these little spots right in there and there, like so. All right, I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm going to dry these two pieces, and then we'll come back and we'll do some die cutting with our papers and getting some florals going. Okay, I've dried these back. This one we're not die cutting. This one we're going to use for the background of my trellis. Set that one aside. Now this one I'm going to die cut and make my trellis out of this. So I just have this little slightly weathered, you know, summer trellis that's been, you know, at one point was probably white or something to that nature in my garden. Okay, so I'm using the Brutus Monroe garden trellis. I'll put the links to all of this, and just so everybody knows, I am a design team member on Brutus Monroe. Extremely thrilled to be doing so. So I will put my affiliate link to this garden trellis in there as well. So this one now is just for a full card panel, right? 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I've cut this slightly larger so I'd have a little bit of overlap when I die cut this. And we're just going to kind of tack it in place to hold these two pieces together. And we'll just run that through like so. And I'm going to back it back out just to make sure I get a nice good cut on that. All right, and that is just falling apart, so I got a nice good cut, I can tell already. Okay. Just like so. And we'll just brush those out. I have this great tool. I'll link this one too. If you do not have a picky stabby tool with a brush, it is a must when you've got die cuts like this. So you're not poking as much. Might need to poke some if they didn't cut quite the best. But this just works like a charm. I love this tool. Now, what would be cool as I'm doing this, it'd be cool to leave some of these in there too. If you wanted to just give, you know, this some extra dimension. You could just leave some of these cuts in there as you brush it out. Just brush it to what it wants to brush out to and leave it as is. That would look fantastic too. But I'm gonna get all of these out and layer that on top of my paper. Then we'll do our florals that I'm kind of thinking. So, but yes. Anyway, to catch you all up, I have been a little silent besides my Brutus Monroe Men of Monroe Wednesdays with Walter because I have just been crazy busy the last couple of weeks since the first of the month. I have a new job. This new job is taking me back to Minnesota, where we came from. We are currently in Georgia. And so I'm extremely thrilled for this new opportunity and new job beyond. But yeah, it is throwing things for a loop. So I have been packing, I've had to make a couple trips back to Minnesota to apartment hunt and to get things squared away there. I just spent the last week, I was in Savannah doing some training for this new job for a week. And so it's been a little crazy. I tried to catch up on videos and get some pre-recorded stuff going, and I got what I could, you know, prepared to do all this transition. So you might see some of my Monday moments missing. You might see a couple okay, I will try that, or Scrappy Shorts missing on some of these days. I just didn't have a chance to get enough pre-recorded as I move. So it is May 20th right now as I'm recording this for this week. Next week I move. So it's going to be a crazy couple weeks. So trying to get some videos done for you all. But the question is probably going to be keeping this house in Georgia. Right now, I'm going to go back and forth as I can and work. I'll be able to do some work from home until we sell this house here in Georgia or decide what we're doing. We may not buy another house back in Minnesota. We are thinking we may buy a house maybe on the south side here, but not Georgia. We're kind of thinking Phoenix area or somewhere like that. So we may be selling the house in the middle of this. We may just stick with our original plan, which was let's just see how this goes for a year, and then decide, because we want to make sure that we want to cash out on this house just a little bit and get what we paid for it plus what we put into it this last year. So that's kind of where we're at, and that's been some of this. I've been missing a little bit. I've still put some Instagram posts out and had a lot of stuff pre-made to schedule out to kind of fill the gaps on some of my social media. So, but the YouTube, I have not put out as much as I had been here the last 6 months, this last month or so, and that is why I am in transition for a new job and moving, and which means, when you do this much crafting and YouTube and everything, what the heck do you do with your craft studio and your equipment and everything? So I have doubled up. I'm going to have a craft studio in Georgia here still, and I'm going to have a craft studio in Minnesota. So I'm going to have 2 craft studios. We'll be doing the lives and videos and stuff from both, and then I will be still doing design team stuff and Instagram posts. So yeah, I'm having 2 studios. I've designed it out for my new apartment, so I'm actually really super excited to reveal it once I get moved and get it set up of what we've done, because we're taking some equipment and some cupboards and different things from here to put in that studio in my little apartment. It's going to be a small apartment, but that is okay. I'm excited. And then we are... before I move, between now and next week, we're going to move this craft room into a different room. My partner's going to take this room, since it's larger, for his office, and redo his office for him. And so, yeah, between now and next week, I'm going to move this studio here. We're going to put up the new studio in the new place and all kinds of stuff. So that's my quick explanation of what is going on in life. And I'm telling you, it all of a sudden got crazy busy, and then it was like, oh boy, I didn't plan for a lot of this stuff. So trying to plan card hops and cards made, and then my commitments to my 3 design teams. So, but I have been very lucky in that these design teams have been very understanding and very gracious in you do what you got to do and make it work. So I'm very happy with that. Grateful for that as well. All right, now I've die cut that out, got my little pieces out. I have glued to tack that down to my mocked up sky, kind of grassy sky thing in the back, just to give it some spring feel. Right now, we're going to get out those floral die cuts and that cardstock. If you hear me fumbling, it's because 3/4 of my craft room's packed. This little corner that I'm in, I've got stuff stacked over to the left here that I need to finish packing, and stuff that I'm keeping here, and so it's kind of messy in this little corner right now until I figure out everything I'm taking and not taking and get things moved. All right, now I think I'm going to go, so let's just, the colors I had here was that blue, yellow, green, and I think I want to kind of stay, but I want to go more of these aquas. So I know I'm going to use probably, I think I'm going to, this is a little Christmassy, but that's okay. I'm going to use this for some greenery. And I'm only going to do three flowers on this, I think. Then I'm going to do, I think I want to do this teal. This one. Is that a different color? No, that's the same, right? Yeah, that's the same. That one, and Do I want to go to a... Did that one. I'm going to do 2 of one, 1 of the other, I think is what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to use, so if you look at the back of this, the smooth one is the inside of the flower, the jackety one is the back side of the flower. I'm going to use this to use for my greenery and my leaves, okay? So I'm going to do that first and cut out 3 of these. So think of it this way. I was given this product, thank you, Cordelia, by the way. Then I'm looking at this product in other ways that I can use it than what it was actually intended for. That makes sense, right? So I'm just trying to think outside the box on this product to stretch it. I could assemble this to what that picture shows. Absolutely pick the colors I want. But I just wanted some greenery, and I didn't want to, I'll be honest, being a little lazy, and I didn't want to cut out all these extra leaves. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. All right, I'm gonna squeeze this in, and if I'm off just a little bit, I'm off just a little bit. I'll make sure that I overlap. Oh, I think I might have got that in there. Let's see if I can just tack that down without moving it. I might have got all that in there. If I didn't, I'm not worried about it. If I'm missing a little tip or a little side of that, I'll cover it up with the edge of another flower, because I'm just honestly just stretching out this one piece of paper. Oh, just barely missed that little tip. That's okay. I'm not too concerned with that. All right. Now, there's my 3 greenery pieces. Now I'm going to take this, and I want to use both of these. So I still want to layer this, but I'm going to mix and match. Okay? So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 1 of these on this one. So if I do 1 of those, it means I need 1 of these to layer it. If you're not following what I'm doing, you'll see when I go to assemble these. Okay? And mixing and matching is all I'm doing here. Okay? So that layers on that. That's all I'm doing. Then this will go like this for my greenery. Okay? And we'll just spin it till it's off center slightly so I have some greenery behind it. Now I'm going to do 2 of these, which means I'll need 2 of the other. Yep, because I did 1 of that. So I need 2 of these. May not fit these, so I may have to grab another sheet, but we'll see what I can fit. Odd shape to kind of get all this out of one piece of paper. And I bet you I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to on that. Not even going to try. So I'm going to get another one of those aquas. The nice thing about this pad, so this is, I believe this is, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheets. You could just make a whole card base out of the background of this as well and call it a day. Like, this would be great. These are great papers to do like tone-on-tone stamping as your background, then layer something on top of it, or tone-on-tone stamping and then run it through like an embossing folder or something. Would be really nice. All right, I'm going to tuck this as much as I can so I can get another one out. Try to get 2 out of this one. Now I'm just doing the opposite so I can layer. And then we'll do the centers, and I'm going to grab some probably scraps for those centers. Oh, please. Oh, please, please, please. Can I get another one out of this? Probably not. Oh, it's so close, though. No. But you know what? I got paper, and it was free to me. You guys know me. I try to stretch as much as I can. I save every scrap that I can to stretch it, and I'm cheap that way. Once I buy something, I want to get the most out of it I can. And I think most of us are the same when we buy supplies, right? All right, now for these, I'm just going to do the circle, to be honest, this little circle. It comes with the little flower center and the little circle center. I'm going to just kind of reach for like a yellow or something in my scrap bucket here for these centers, and that looks perfect to me. Again, scrap, 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 just I'm talking about scrap. So I need 3 of these. Quick little ones to cut out, right? So 3 of these for the center. And now here is the all-time question. Do I go through and do some ink blending on these or not? Or do I just leave them plain as is? I'm torn with that, to be very honest, because I feel like simplicity of this might be okay. So let's just layer that to see what I have, okay? And see how this is going to look. And I may not like that greenery in the back too. I don't know yet. Just that was the idea in my head, so that's what I cut out for. All right, now these non-jagged go on top of the jagged. Okay, I'm gonna get out my tweezer for this. So you guys, like, separating out my craft room for 2 has been the hardest thing to decide, like, what do I need duplicates of? What do I need to take with me? What am I leaving here? You know, I had to buy double of equipment and stuff, so that was hard, and it gets a little pricey. Let's just put it there. But I think in the end it'll be worth it. I'm not going to miss a beat on my videos and hops and all that stuff. All right, now you can see how that layers up really nicely. Let me bring that up to the camera. Nice, right? All right, so let's just do the other one here. My little tip of this got dirty and fell off, so it's coming out a little bit more than I would like. And layer this one. Like so. Just push that in place a little bit. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Love, love. Okay, then my opposite one. These I think are going to look so cute, just tacked on that trellis. Okay, tack that on like so. I just get it barely touching so it sticks, and then I just start moving it into, you know, centering all these different leaves on there. Love that. Okay, let's just get our little center on here. And I'm just going to do the dab of glue right onto the flower. These are easy to assemble too. Like, I actually really like these cute little dies. I picked this out of her stash because, like, I don't have anything like that, you know, and just these simple little die cuts like this. So I'm like, this would be perfect. I've never bought one, and let's just try it. Okay, now my idea behind these was to twist these for the greenery, and I do think I like that, but I do think I'm going to add some shading to the green, just to intensify that just a little bit. I'm going to grab my little brush, and I think I'm just going to do, it's a little darker paper, so I've got to go a little darker with that green. But I want to see if maybe this blue-green that I have, and let's just see, maybe, I wonder if Aquatina. Let me grab a scrap, because I guess I want to see the tone of this. Yeah, maybe that, because it's got a little blue in there. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit. And this is pretty juiced up, so I just want to make sure I got good coverage on my brush. And then I'm just going to go through and do the edges of all these leaves a little, just to get these to pop a little bit. Give it a little edge right behind that flower, but I'm going to keep the flowers as is. I'm not going to I'm not going to blend the flowers because I've got them layered, and I could have done it separate in the layers, but I just wanted it simple, but I feel like this can pop just a little bit better behind those florals. I'm just random. It's not too blendy because it's going to be covered up mostly anyway. I just want to give this some dimension. Just throwing a little color on the edges. On all three of these, actually. Like so. Got to hold them in place. They're a little bendy. So yeah, hopefully you guys have been checking out Men of Monroe on Wednesdays. You've got to check us out. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, or excuse me, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm about to go to Central Time. Walter and I are both on the team, and we are having a blast. We've put out some awesome cards. The theme or the idea behind our Men of Monroe is to, Walter and I have two different styles of card making, and the idea here is what can we make with the same two products and how different they are to give you all ideas of, with two different flares of card making, what you can do and how it can turn out. And it's just been awesome. Great response from everybody so far, and just totally digging it. It's been crazy fun. So check us out Wednesdays, and you'll see me starting to mix some of my Bruce Monroe stuff in with my videos, just because I'm getting such a great stash and I'm just loving the product. So you'll start seeing me probably mix just a little bit more. All right, I'm just going to glue the center, and I'm going to get this lined up before I push that down, like so. Okay, just the center. Twist that so I get those peeking out, like so. And then my third and final. Come on, just line up. There we go. Oh, love those. Look how cute those are. Those are great. These would look great as poinsettias for Christmas. Or, I'm in my head already. I'm going to make some yellow and white ones for like daisy kind of stuff. I think would look fantastic. All right, let me just wipe up my space here. Get that set over here so I don't lose it. All right, now, get that out of the way. My card base, I'm just going to set this on a normal card base. This is going to cover that full front of that card base. So we're going to basically just kind of throw these up in my side and corner here. And I think I'm going to go towards the bottom. Actually, that doesn't look bad. Just spread it out. That doesn't actually look so bad. And I know this is full card base, so I'm going to tuck these in just a little bit so they're not overhanging as much. I got to check for my one that was cut off, which is right there. So we're going to tuck that underneath like so, and nobody's going to know any different. I'm going to get these where I want them. We're going to go, that one needs to go there. That cut edge needs to go there. Oh, I like that a lot. I love that a lot. All right, I'm going to pop that one on dimensionals. We're going to glue this one down, but I'm going to leave just those edges. So those edges pop just a little bit on me. Okay, and I'm just lifting it in the position I want it to stay in. So as I assemble, perfect. I love it. And then we'll do a sentiment, and the sentiment is going to be from another set that came from Madame Cordelia's stash. All right. So throw this last one up on dimensionals. I just couldn't resist some dimensionals on here to pop that up. That's my cut one that I want to cover and twist it just so I get some good overlay of the petals. I'm going to bring that out just a tweak. A little bit. Like so. Love it. Love it. Look how easy that was. All right, this was the sentiment pack I also got from Cordelia. Hero Arts Hero Greetings. Great little set. Happy birthday. It's your day. Blessed with deepest sympathy. So proud of you. I'm sorry. Get well soon. Happy birthday. Congrats and good luck. You've got everything on here. I think I'm going to do just a really simple get well soon and throw it kind of right in here so it just overlaps that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lightest of the paper that I had right here, and we're going to just, I think the way this is looking, I am thinking this is just going to look best in a nice simple white embossing. Okay, so let me grab one of my placement tools here. This is one that was also gifted to me by Mr. Anthony from Anthony's Papercraft. All right, now I know the get well soon I want to sit in here, so I'm going to go over here so that I have room to put it as a flag or something towards the end. I'm sorry, my head's in the way, but let's see here if I can sneak in. Go over just as tight as I can to that edge because I want that tucked up on the flower. My head's in the way. I'm going to move it here in just a second, okay? All right. You can kind of see, I'm going to tuck it over this way so I have overhang that way, is what I'm trying to do. Pick that up. Make sure that's back in place. I don't know if this has been used or not, so I'm just going to rough that up and get out my embossing powder, like so, and some Versamark. Oh. I think I just juiced up this Versamark, so it should be good. All right. Smaller lettering, so just a nice little tap on that, and then reposition. So lift it up just a little bit. I don't want to squish and distort my lettering. It's not fine, but it's just fine enough. And it had moved on me, so we're going to try it again. Make sure that's tucked tight for me on this first impression. All right, try that again. Tucked up nice and tight. Up and down. Retuck that up nice and tight. And 2 might be good anyway. That looks like a pretty decent impression, actually. All right, let's do my bright white. And I'm just going to use this little scrap here to do this. My normal piece of paper I think I threw away. I think I got some chunky glitter glaze or something on it from the last card I was making. Simple white on that. Very, very springy, florally with that. I always feel like the white sentiments look very florally, very springy to me, or Christmassy. But I know they work on all kinds of cards, but that's just how I feel. All right. Smooth that out. And throw this on, and we have got ourselves an incredibly easy but yet fun. I got to do some ink smushing. I got to do some fun die cutting on a new die cut I've never done before, or the type of die cut I've never done before. All right, I'm going to cut this down to match on both sides. That actually looks pretty darn close, actually. Let me just get that straight as possible. There we go. Hold that right where we are. And now just line this up. So I'm going to throw this, I'm going to take a little bit off of that, I think. Just a hair off of that. Better, I think. I always do a little bit, then I got to do a little bit on the other side, but we're going to leave it like that. I'm digging that, but I'm going to take that ink that I just used for that green, because it's got a little bluish green to it, and lightly, very lightly make this pop. Just enough to give this a little edge. I just want this to pop off of that background. Is the only reason why I'm just throwing just a little bit of color on that. Like so. All right. Then I'm going to hold that and just cut that to where I want it. So I like it, I think, right in through. I like it covering up that whole leaf. So we're going to go right about here and just cut that straight away. Okay, and then just add a little bit of ink onto that. A little bit extra there. Just kind of layering a little bit more. Now that I have it, I feel like I want it to pop a little bit extra. Okay, throw some dimensionals on there. I'm not sure if these full squares will fit. Yeah, kind of. Give this 3 squares. And we are good. All right. Just pop this on, and I am loving this very springy card. Again, garden trellis, but you don't need garden trellis. I mean, if you've got like a plaid background, would work fantastic with something like this. I do have both. So I've got the plaid backgrounds. I've got this trellis that I bought, and I bought it because it had all the greenery to go with it to make the trellis to go around. All right, I think this is a fantastic get well card. I'll put this on a card base, full panel on the front. So I think this is just a fantastic, springy, fun little. Who wouldn't start feeling better after getting this card, right? So let me just show you front view here as we wrap up. And I'm going to put this right in front of my face so that the camera will focus on the card and not my face. Hopefully. There we go. Took it a second. Isn't that awesome? Cute little die cuts. So again, this was the Hero Arts Greetings. Then I had the scrapbook flower dies, scalloped flower dies from scrapbook.com, and then the garden trellis from Brutus Monroe. And then I used just Distress Oxides to do some ink smushing on both of these to get that little distressy kind of front of the trellis with my sunny, cloudy background with the blues and greens and yellow on that very back side. So thank you all so much for hanging with me. Such a pleasure to give you guys some content every single week. Again, I'm going to be a little spotty on some consistency of my programming per se in the next couple weeks as I move and make my transition and get my studios set up at both sides. But hang in there. I'm live every Wednesday still for Brutus Monroe over on Brutus Monroe's YouTube. Also links to mine and my Facebook. And I will try to kick out a couple videos here on Thursdays to replace when I go live Thursdays when I get back into my new place. All right? Everyone, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and comment. That does definitely help. And I appreciate you all. Until next time, I'll see you then.